Have you ever met someone and before you even get their name, this little voice in your head goes, "Don't trust this person." Or maybe it's the other way around. Even after just a couple of words, your gut just tells you, this person's different. They're honest. They're the real deal. That voice in your head, it's just your brain processing a bunch of info in literally seconds, making a snap judgment. So what's this decision even based on? Is it their eyes, the sound of their voice, or just your instincts? I've always wondered about that voice in my head. Why do we instantly vibe with some people and with others, we just want to keep our distance, even if they don't say a word? So one day, I decided to really dig into this. I started diving into psychology, behavioral science, even neuroscience, and guess what? They all basically say the same thing. First impressions aren't random at all. They're actually systematic judgments. And yeah, we can size someone up in just 10 seconds. Most of the time, we do this without even realizing it. But here's the cool part. We can actually do it on purpose too. In this video, I'll show you how to read someone's personality in just 10 seconds. Using real science, real-life stories, and a couple of simple tricks, I'll share some hacks to really get to know people. Sometimes just one quick look tells you everything you need to know. Ready? Let's jump right in. Have you ever felt uncomfortable because of the way someone looked at you? It makes you want to look away. You get this uneasy feeling you just can't explain. And sometimes, it's the opposite. You talk to someone, and when they look you right in the eye, you're like, wow, I feel seen. Eye contact is way more powerful than most people think. Psychologists say eye contact isn't just a way to communicate, it's actually a trust test. If someone keeps staring for too long, it can feel overwhelming or even a little creepy. But on the other hand, if someone looks away too quickly or keeps darting their eyes around, that sends a different message. I'm not really present. I might be nervous around you. Or maybe I'm not being totally honest. Here's what's wild. Research shows that people can usually tell if someone's trustworthy with just 3 seconds of eye contact. And most of the time, those gut feelings are spot on. Let's say you're grabbing coffee with someone you just met. If they keep avoiding your eyes, or their eyes are constantly darting around, you probably get that gut feeling that something's off, even if you can't put your finger on it. That's your brain's quick, intuitive side at work, what psychologists call System 1. It picks up on stuff you might not even notice. So when you first meet someone, try asking yourself, how are they looking at me? If their eye contact feels warm, steady, and relaxed, odds are you're dealing with someone you can trust. But if their eyes keep shifting away, maybe they're not being their true self. When someone smiles at you, are they really happy or just being polite? The secret's in their microexpressions. Sometimes, people's faces show what they're feeling in just a split second. So quick, most folks don't even catch it. But our brains are great at picking up on these little clues. I remember once watching a YouTube video that really stuck with me. An FBI agent was grilling a suspect and caught a microexpression, a tiny flicker that lasted just 0.2 seconds. The suspect looked calm, but as soon as his eyebrows furrowed, the agent was like, "That guy's lying." No joke, this is exactly how microexpressions work. If someone's secretly mad but tries to force a smile, their facial muscles just don't add up. That tiny mismatch can tell you a ton about how they're really feeling. Here are a few quick examples. Eyebrows shoot up for a split second? That's surprise or maybe fear. Lips pressed tight together? Usually means hidden anger. If someone smiles, but their eyes stay the same, that smile's probably fake. So, how do you spot these signs? Just slow down for a second. Instead of only listening to someone's words, watch what their body and face are saying. People can lie with words. But your face, especially those quick flashes, almost never does. If someone says, "Nice to meet you," but their eyes aren't smiling and their mouth looks tight, odds are they're not really that glad to meet you, even if their words sound perfect. Microexpressions are small, but their impact is huge. We often show our real feelings on our faces without even realizing it. Want to know what someone's really thinking? Don't just listen to their words. Watch their hands and how they move. The thing is, we can usually control what we say. But our bodies, they totally spill the beans about what's really going on inside, sometimes without us even realizing it. Let me tell you a story. One time, I was in a meeting where someone was giving a presentation. They sounded super confident and their words were persuasive. But the whole time, their hands were hidden under the table. Right away, I thought, they don't seem all that confident in themselves. And later on, I realized that whenever someone kept their hands out of sight, it kind of made the whole room feel uneasy. I even looked it up, and sure enough, psychologists say that seeing someone's hands is closely tied to how trustworthy and confident they come across. Here are some quick examples. Open palms show you've got nothing to hide. You're being honest and open. Keeping your hands behind your back or stuffed in your pockets. That can make people think you might be hiding something. If you fidget with your hands, it usually means you're feeling super antsy, nervous, or maybe even a little anxious. And if your hands are just totally still, that can be a sign you're worried about messing up or losing control. But it's not just about your hands. Crossing your arms, classic "don't mess with me" move. Leaning in shows you're engaged and really paying attention. But if your shoulders are slumped, you're probably feeling tired, bummed out, or just not feeling very confident. Honestly, body language is kind of like a roadmap. If you know how to read it, all the stuff people try to hide with words just pops right out at you. So just remember, if someone says, "I'm fine," but their body language is screaming, "Get me out of here," trust what their body's telling you. You know those folks who get all up in your face when they talk. Then there are others who like to keep their distance, almost like there's an invisible barrier between you. That's not by accident. How close, or how far, someone stands says a lot. Whether it's your first time meeting, a job interview, or just hanging out with friends, the space someone keeps between you and them. It usually shows how comfortable they are with you, or how close you actually are. And honestly, most people don't even notice how much they're saying just with space. Studies show that the space we keep from other folks actually says a ton about our personalities, how we feel in different situations, and even what our intentions might be. For example, someone who stands super close might really be warm and friendly, but if it feels a little too close for comfort, maybe they just don't know boundaries, or maybe they're kinda overbearing. If someone keeps their distance, maybe they're just shy, playing it safe, or maybe they want to show they're the one calling the shots. But here's what really matters. Do they look chill while keeping their distance, or are they all tense? As they get closer, are their shoulders loose, or do they look kinda on edge? Bottom line, sometimes it's not about how many inches are between us. It's more about what's actually going on here. If you just pay attention, you'll catch a lot just by noticing the space people put between you. Let's talk about first lines. They're pretty much like handing someone your business card when you meet them for the first time. Your first impression really lasts. Nobody just blurts out the first thing that pops into their head. Those opening words actually give you a sneak peek into how they think, what gets them excited, and sometimes even show a little bit of their ego. Think about it. You're meeting someone for the first time and they say, "I'm pretty good at reading people." Immediately, you might be thinking, "All right, this person's confident, maybe even a bit too confident." Or maybe they kick things off with, "So, what do you do? You seem super easy to talk to." And right away, you feel like, okay, this person's friendly, polite, and knows how to read a room. Sure, it all sounds simple. But if you pay attention to what's underneath those words, it's a lot easier to figure out how someone sees themselves, or how they want you to see them. That very first sentence is like a window into who they really are. Some people put all their achievements out there, some show off their power, and others just want to come across as warm, kind, or unique. For example, "I work crazy hours," showing off productivity or status. "Weird weather today, right?" Hoping to make a social connection. Let me explain this. Maybe they need to stay in control or want to be noticed. Honestly, sometimes just one sentence is all it takes to start sizing someone up. But you can't just listen to the words. You've got to hear what's really being said underneath. Has anyone ever told you, "I'll text you later," but then you never hear back? Or, "I'll shoot you that link," but it never shows up? Little things like that tell you a ton about a person. It's not the big promises that show if someone's reliable. It's the small stuff. Pretty much everyone says, "I'll help you out," or "Let's hang out sometime." But honestly, hardly anybody really follows through. Here's the deal. If someone can't even keep a tiny promise, they're way more likely to drop the ball when it really matters. I call this a mini character test. You don't need a deep conversation, just pay attention. If someone says, "I'll hit you up," and then never does, it just means you weren't really a priority to them. That says a lot about who they are. Sometimes, someone's saying the right words, but their tone just feels off. Like, their words sound fine, but you just get this feeling, something's not adding up. Most of the time, that missing piece is all in their tone of voice. Your tone isn't just about giving info. It shows how you really feel. Experts say your tone actually packs way more emotion than the actual words. For example, if someone speaks loudly and quickly, they might seem dominant, intense, or maybe even a little anxious. If someone talks softly and slowly, it can mean they're shy or not very confident. A person who speaks in a monotone probably has trouble expressing emotions or just wants to keep things under control. But if their voice keeps going up and down, they might be more emotional, empathetic, or sometimes just a bit unpredictable. Also, watch how they talk. If someone suddenly slows down right after you ask something, maybe they're looking for the right words or just being careful. But if they start speeding up, maybe they're trying to change the subject or just rush you along. Bottom line, someone's voice is like a window to what's really going on inside. If you really learn to listen, you'll catch a lot more than just their words. Want to test someone's character? Don't just watch how they act around their boss or people who can do something for them. The real test is how they treat people who can't do anything for them. Think about servers, janitors, call center reps, or anyone who often gets brushed off as unimportant. If someone's rude to these people, snaps at them, or acts like they don't even exist, you can spot it right away. That's someone I don't want to get too close to, because empathy isn't real empathy if you only show it to people who can benefit you. In that case, it's just a strategy. What really matters is character, not strategy. One of my favorite little observation tricks is this. Whenever I meet someone new, I watch how they treat the people around them, especially those in jobs society might overlook. But that play a crucial role. Do they say thank you? Do they make eye contact? Or are they just focused on themselves? Remember, true character shows itself when people don't feel pressured to put on a show. Noticing this gives you an edge over most people. Sometimes you give someone just a bit of feedback. Maybe you suggest, "Could you try rephrasing that sentence?" Suddenly, they get red in the face. Their eyes go wide and their voice gets louder. "So, you didn't like it, huh?" As if you just insulted them. That's when you see it. Defensiveness. If someone sees every bit of criticism as a personal attack, odds are they've got some confidence issues they haven't dealt with yet. To them, any feedback feels like an attack on who they are. You don't need elaborate tests to figure out someone's character. Just gently make a suggestion, share your opinion, or let them know you disagree. If they get defensive, snap, get sarcastic, or call you too sensitive, there's a wall there. And most of the time, what's hiding behind it is pride, fear, or low self-esteem. But some people are different. They thank you, ask for your perspective, and really reflect on it. Even if they disagree, they listen. People like this have high emotional intelligence and a real desire to grow. And that difference usually shows itself in a small moment, just in how they react. Remember, people who think they're strong react by raising their voices. People who are actually strong pause, reflect, and respond in a calm, thoughtful way. How a conversation ends says just as much as how it starts. Not everyone notices, but a keen observer will spot this right away. Some people just disappear in the middle of a convo. Poof, no goodbye, no catch you later. It's like they just accidentally dropped out of a Zoom call. Others drag the goodbye out forever. Wait, just one more thing, and suddenly the conversation never ends. That can be a sign of indecisiveness or a big need for approval. But the best people? They end the conversation naturally. With a simple smile, they say, "Great talking to you, catch you later." Not too much, not too little. Most of the time, people like this have great social awareness because the feeling you leave people with at the end of a conversation really matters. Sometimes, that last impression sticks more than the first. The way someone says goodbye says a lot about their self-confidence, their relationship skills, their basic courtesy, and how well they read the room. Bottom line, how someone leaves is just as important as how they show up. So far, we've covered eye contact, microexpressions, body language, and tone of voice. But here's something really cool. How does your brain pull all this info together so quickly? I mean, usually it takes hours to truly get to know someone, right? But sometimes you just get a gut feeling in a few seconds. That's where a pretty amazing psychology idea comes in. It's called thin slicing. I actually first heard about this in Malcolm Gladwell's book, Blink. Gladwell says it like this: the human brain can draw conclusions from just a few seconds' impressions that are as accurate as hours of analysis. Honestly, we do this without even thinking about it. We analyze how someone looks at us, their eye contact, their tone of voice, their body language, even the very first thing they say, all in just a couple of seconds. And when all these signals come together, your brain will instantly send you messages like, "I can totally trust this person. This person might be playing games with me. I feel good around them. Maybe I should be careful with this person." Everything we just talked about, eye contact, quick facial expressions, little gestures, how close someone stands to you and the way they speak, all of that is part of this process. Thin slicing is kind of like having a high-speed engine in your head. It pulls together all these little clues, and bam, there's your first impression. Now, of course, sometimes this whole system can throw us off. Quick decisions can get messed up by our old experiences or even our own biases. But when you use this skill the right way, it's honestly like having a superpower. Bottom line, if you start paying attention on purpose, you can actually steer these snap judgments your brain is making and really sharpen up your gut instincts. Sometimes it takes hours, days, or even months to really get to know someone. But other times, your brain just wants to figure it out in 10 seconds. That's because our instincts are all about making quick calls when we need to. When your brain is making these snap decisions, it's picking up on eye contact, tone of voice, quick facial expressions, and body language. Now that you know about all these signals, next time you meet someone, don't just listen to what's coming out of their mouth. Watch how they look at you, where they're standing, and how close they get. That way, you'll be one of those people who picks up on the little stuff, and you'll always be a step ahead. But here's the thing. This isn't about just slapping labels on people. It's about understanding them a bit better. So don't jump to the conclusion that someone's lying just because they look away. Maybe they're nervous. Maybe they're just shy. Real understanding? That takes time. These tricks just give you the first clues. But to actually get to know someone, you've got to spend more time and pay attention. Just remember, making quick calls is useful, but real connections take patience. Everything I've shared here is just a toolkit to help you build your intuition muscle. The more you put it into practice, the better you'll get at communicating. Honestly, I could talk about this kind of stuff all day. But since this video's turning out kind of long, I think it makes sense to wrap it up for now. I'll figure out what to dive into next based on your questions and feedback. I'm really not out here just chasing likes or trying to get attention. But hey, if this video actually helped you, drop a like or leave a comment. That's plenty for me. It just helps me know if I should keep making stuff like this. And if you want to see more videos, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Believe it or not, around 70% of people watching are still not subscribed. And lastly, let me know down in the comments, what's the first thing you notice when you meet someone new?